got this lovely little package all the way from, I believe, France. I will double check it. With this very sweet note. I'm very moved to send you this package. This oracle is the blooming of a dream. A beautiful adventure shared with Alicia, the artist with magic fingers. Invoked with my beliefs, lulled by my intuition, I wish with all my heart that it will illuminate with a gentle light your draw. It is so sweet from Miss Marie. She says, sorry for my poor English. I couldn't write anything like this in a different language, so there's never need for apologies in that regard. Beautiful feather. Luby Loon. Boutique online, lubyloon.com. It's very, very cool. Business card. I don't know what to expect with this. So I'm very eager to see what it is. L'Oracle Deste almost looks like Murmures. The Oracle of Whispers. So this was created by Marie and illustrated by Alicia Mathau, I'm guessing. Ash color. It says something else with a Julie Goinbod. So it looks, oh, these are beautiful. It's a 52 card deck and guidebook. And it doesn't look like it has any titles on it, just symbols perhaps, which is great for obviously languages that I don't speak. Because then, ooh, I really like the box. It's like almost like a muted gold feel to it. Made of shade and light, I have always been and ever will be. With love and freedom, may harmony show me the way as I wake up every single day. Love that. Has a, oh, these are gorgeous. Those are beautiful. They look like, you know, keywords here, obviously in one language. And then you flip it over. I really love when they do that. You flip it, and so then here we have a guidebook in English. And have some really neat looking draws here. And how to use them. And then, oh, it talks about the cards. There are Element card, Gaia card, Air card, Water card, and Fire card, and it has some keywords. The Seasons card, Ostara, Litha, Mabon, and Yule. The Senses, Visions, Melody, Odor, Flavor, and Touch. So sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. I'm not sure what that says. I do like this font. It's very pretty, but it's hard to read. I'm not sure. It looks to me like it says the mouth card. Like, you know, almost like arguments, that type of thing. Joy, fear, love. Maybe the death card. Rebel, armor, and so on and so forth, all the way through, and some keywords for each one. So we shall see. 2 people were involved in the creation of this oracle. I had the opportunity to share this experience with Alicia, the artist of my soul, who knew how to bring my thoughts to life and draw them on paper. That is beautiful. Connection there. And then, of course, the other side is the other language. Well, I have to say, ooh, these are beautiful. Look, and it's that beautiful matte gold. Oh, look, see, it's got the elements. It's Gaia. Oh, these are beautiful. These are beautiful. Okay, so let's get where we can see these a little closer. And I will find my glasses, which would help me. Oops. So they look to be watercolor, obviously, but they also look like they are, whether that's printed or were in actuality, it looks like almost like they're on tea stained paper, which is so gorgeous. So gorgeous. I'm going to go back to the beginning here of these cards. So we have Mother Earth, you can imagine, Pakimama, motherly, fertile, childbirth, birth, these types of energy here. It does have it associated with Earth here. And then the second card is associated with air. Relief, lightness, purity, dispersive, regenerative, storm. Kind of keywords here. It almost looks like there are lanterns strapped into the tree, and you can see them sort of moving in the air, which is gorgeous. Beautiful water. I love the use of sacred geometry, even with the white lotuses here. I just like that additional on top of the beautiful watercolors. Great. So then we have water, and then for fire, so they're numbered, and then these particular ones have the symbol of fire. That's absolutely gorgeous. Now this I'm gotta stop for a moment, because I've never seen this anywhere other than in my journey tokens. This is a new set, so let me see if I could. Got a plastic bag. I can possibly see it quickly. Here we go. I have never seen, so this is a symbol here for spring, and obviously we'll see what they use for the other ones. These are from an old almanac. These particular symbols, they're real symbols, like, you know, not just made up. Here's winter. I'll just try to grab out the other ones if I can find them. I didn't know those were going to be there. I would have had this prepped, obviously. Here's autumn. Now I know autumn can go down more droopy like a willow tree, so that might be how it is. And here is summer. I've never seen it used in any other. I'm not saying it's not used in another deck, but I haven't seen it used, those symbols used anywhere. So that just makes me so happy. So that is for spring. Yeah, see, I did this, and then later I was like, oh, I wish I would have done it that way, because I love that it looks like a willow tree. Now, they have it going this way. I've seen it this way as being summer, but regardless, it is summer. And so look, here we have the same window, and or a similar window, no, it's the same window, through the different seasons. Here we have spring, here we have summer, here we have fall. Again, you can sometimes see that drooping that way or this way. It's from, again, an old almanac. And then look at winter. I had a problem with the person who woodcuts this. For whatever reason, though the image, you know, that to make this off of, it looks just like this. The laser couldn't quite do something with these dots, and so I have some where they just kind of drifted around almost like snow falling. But that's winter. I've never seen that in any other deck, so that really makes me feel quite connected to the deck. Okay, let me go back. See the window with the snowflakes and the wreath. I love the blowing leaves and the dried herbs at the top. Oh, I absolutely love these seasonal cards. This is very youthful here. Okay, so now we come to cards that don't necessarily have symbols on them. We have gone through, this is the Visions card. So, you know, you kind of get the sense of maybe the High Priestess with this here, very modern, almost steampunky with these types of things. But look at those, are moon. The phases of the moon. Around it we have the crescent moons here, so you definitely get a sense of the third eye. This is kind of High Priestess vibe there. Ooh, that's beautiful. This is the melody card. She's listening to this shell. Well, it looks like a shell to me. Yeah, for all I know, it's like an MP3 player, but I'm pretty sure that's a shell. It's about hearing and what we hear, what we sense, right? Now this does have sight with the eyes, whereas the moon, I will say, makes me think what our inner sight, where I think this is also about our outer sight. This is our hearing, and I love this, the motion of the sound being put here. Here we have, what do we smell? And we have sort of a sage bundle here that we can see the scent wafting up, and she's actually smelling it. So it's the 4 senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Oh, look at that card. I like how they did 12 too. All this taste. Well, this is going to be full of smells and taste, but yeah, that's for taste. Of course, I think there's tons you could do here, not even just for the senses. That is a stunning image. I love that. Here, this is so interesting, and again, I quite like how that looks. It almost looks glyph-like. Touch, you know, so they're touching each other, but look at stuff that's growing from that touch. Like, we need this degree of contact, and what can grow from that contact when it's good contact versus negative contact. Oh yeah, voice. So they are arguing. This is negative energy going out into the world. This is the whip card, you know, the broom card. This is just argument, anger, disagreements, not negative energy coming out. This, on the other hand, is filled with joy. What's on her eyes? Looks like she has something on her eyes, but I can't see. Enthusiasm, enjoyment, excitement, a laugh, happiness. Yeah, I mean, this color is radiant. Just arms up with joy. Here we have I think this is the tear card, but sadness. So we're seeing lots of ways in which emotions are expressed. Emotions can be expressed through anger, joy, sadness, love here, where energies are coming together. I like the ribbons tied, almost like a hand fasting ceremony. So we're seeing different ways for emotions to be expressed. Now this has it as it says the dead card, but you know, I'm assuming death here. Fear, immobility, block, expectation. Now I don't see anything here to do with fear. Like, to me, she looks like she is pretty meditative about transformative energies. Here, it's a beautiful image. Whereas, like I was saying, you know, we have this anger card. You know, you can clearly see the angry energy that's just billowing out of them. Whereas the dead card, while it has keywords like fear, immobility, block, expectation, stagnancy, pause, withdrawal, indecisiveness, I don't see that in this particular card. It's just beautiful understanding of death and rebirth. For me, this is a lot more to do with pause and you know, just sitting with that energy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Ooh, wow. I do quite like the artist. Very modern illustrative style. That's gorgeous. Here we have the warrior card. What says the rebel, but it's the warrior. Wild, untamable, emancipated, unconventional, courageous, bold, perseverance. I mean, that's very powerful. And again, because there's nothing on the cards, right? There's no titles on the cards. You can really go with your own intuition here. This is the armor card of protection. Shell, bubble, you know, this can be good things and it can be bad things. It's good to have protection, but it can also become a hindrance if you're too far into your bubble. Here we have the public card versus being private and self-based. This is being out in public. And whether that's a good experience or not a good experience might depend on the situation. But this would be kind of like the guarding cards, where you're going to be out and you're connecting with other people. Here we have the maze card. It's kind of got one of those puzzles. Again, I love her artwork. It's beautiful. This shows it is confusion, lack of understanding, obstinacy, but I can see it's just trying to work out the different pieces of the puzzle. It's a beautiful expression. Challenge card. You like, which course are you going to take? Which direction? It's very similar to a path card, which I love. We have the thunder card. Oh, this to me looks more like lightning, right? It's that strike of lightning. It's the tower card moment, that type of energy. The back card. Now this is interesting because I don't know what necessarily is written on her back, but it's kind of like backstabbing. It almost looks like her back is hurting. So this is sort of things that go on behind your back in a negative sense. Although I could see this intuitively, this card coming up in a variety of different ways. Justice card. So it looks pretty typical in terms of the keywords, law, rules, responsibility, judging, that type of thing. Very cute compared to some of the others, although again, this does have that modern illustrative style, so it's not that it doesn't fit at all. It's a little cuter rendition to Justice, but I do like the third eye being open there. Oops, I didn't mean to close the book here. Obviously, the Lion card is about power and leadership and these types of energy. Love the Squirrel card. Work and effort and organization, building, undertaking, much to be done. Very active squirrels. Oh, look at the moon. Cat card for agility, independence, that type of energy. Beautiful Horse card as a guide, masculine protector energy. It looks very strong. This is not just a fluffy unicorn running through the rainbows. Like, that looks like a very powerful horse. An Ancestor card, family and ancestry. Oh, these are beautiful. Children, innocence, spontaneity, inner child, childhood. Community. So this is a little bit different than public, right? Just being out in public does not mean you're connecting with all these people, that these people. How are they judging you? How are you judging them? These are people that are together, friends, hanging out, the charmed ones, right? This is that like the Three of Cups. This is that sense of the people that we have, our people, our group, our friends. This is beautiful. Celebration card, but celebration as in rituals and ceremonies, setting out a sacred grid, that type of thing. Ooh, again, I really do love her artwork. Sometimes decks like these can like sort of the Lumina Tarot or things like that. Even some of the Star Child Tarots and things, they can, this beautiful modern illustrative style can feel too young for me as an old person. But I really love, I think she's done a beautiful job. It feels youthful and vibrant and modern, but it doesn't feel too young for me. That makes sense. The moon card, just to do with the feminine, where the horse card is the masculine. The cardstock is gorgeous. Magic card, I love that. They're just doing magic. It does look like a very modern female magician. The wisdom card, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right card. Forgiveness, making the first move, reconciliation. I don't know that I necessarily see those things with her. It's just a pretty, to me, this is just a really pretty lady. Well, she's stepping in water. She's taking the first step, which I think could be that idea Oh, it does say make the first move. I think sometimes going with the keywords versus maybe the English translation of the single word is better. So be willing to take the first step, you could say there. Again, I think intuitively these cards could come up and mean a whole lot of other things as well. Oh, I love the dandelion. The breath card. Love it. Make a wish. I love how her hair looks like water. We have a sense of balance here, you know, being present in your body. They has it called the yoga card. Obviously they're doing yoga, but it is that sense of really being fully in your own skin. That's beautiful. Meditation. She's a phenomenal artist. That is a beautiful picture. This one's treasure. Hidden nostalgia secrets. She's caught the treasure in her hand. We have a treasure chest behind her. She's found something. It almost looks like one of those old-fashioned full bathing suits. It's really cool. I think it's beautiful. Not creepy hands either. Sometimes hands get me, but this is really cool. Creativity, right? All tools of trade. You could be cooking or sewing or drawing or singing or like working with your hands. All of the different ways that we might express our creativity. I love that. Learning, yes. Knowledge, studies. The letter card is beautiful. Messages, those types of things. News and messages. So it's a beautiful mix. It feels like a beautiful mix between what I would say a modern day oracle would be, but also has that that flair of some of the fortune telling cards like cat and letter and the community versus the public, these types of things. I feel like it could be really interesting read. Beautiful time card. Look at the different seasons. This is stunning. I love that. The money card, saving money. It could be finances of all kinds. See how it's got that sort of Lenormand kippery feel, but also has a very beautiful intuitive oracle feel to it. I love it. The gift or the bouquet card. You think about a bouquet card. The non-attachment card. Simplicity, freedom, letting things go. Open the cage and let things go. Love that. A fall. This is a falling card. It's beautiful. This is a fairy. Now, she has this failure and damage and end and loss and things like that, but, you know, she could get up from that fall. There's a free fall going here. How is she going to right herself? Maybe also. But it's good to have those. I like to see that there's light and shadow in the deck. The door card. Find the right key, put it in the lock, and open that door. The journey card here, on a journey. I love it. Stepping out into the path. Has everything she needs. And then the evolution card. This is really powerful. Very primal feel to the posture. I love that. I absolutely love that. It's almost like she is just coming out of that chrysalis and she is fully evolved, because we are all going to have fairy wings when we evolve. Yeah, I really love the art here. I would say if you're working with this, to make sure you're paying attention to in English if you don't speak the language. I think that very often the keywords, sometimes the translation of the main word doesn't quite fit there, but then the keywords make sense. But how wonderful is that to have that? And again, I feel like there's a lot of intuitive energy here to be had. So let's give the cardstock feels amazing. Oops, let me back it up. I know I'm doing this relatively quickly. I was really excited to see what it was, and I really am kind of in the middle of a bunch of things, but it intrigued me, and intrigued me more the further that I went. It shuffles gorgeous. The cardstock is just Amazing, silky, matte, perfect, not too thick, not too thin. It's just perfect. And it's that kind of matte gold on the edges. This is beautiful. You know, if you've watched my channel for very long, that I have a very hit and miss association with oracles sometimes. And what really excites me about this deck is that it does have that sort of useful, practical nature of some sort of the old style fortune-telling decks. But it also is so open because there aren't any names on it. It's very open to be used in a very intuitive manner.
What's the name of the app you want to launch?
And Siri thinks I'm talking to her, but I'm not.
I'm here.
I'm not talking to you. I am not talking to you. Maybe I'm going to get a message from Siri from this reading. So let's see how it's gonna come up. I'm just going to kind of do a general, what do I need to hear right now? Beautiful air. And I do love, again, the wind aspect here of that, things that are moving. Oh, yes, I got one of the tokens that I fell in love with. So spring. So we have this thought, but it's very much fall where I'm at, but this idea of spring and freshness and sort of orienting, kind of reorienting self, opening up the windows, letting in the spring air, in the realm of the mind, right? Let that wind blow through the branches. Let the spring and renewal and freshness blow through my brain, which I so need right now. So that certainly makes sense to me. And then the last one we have is the community card, which was different than the public card, right? And so this fresh winds blowing through the community. So we as a community need a fresh wind. But if I'm reading this for myself, right, this is interesting because I'm coming on a weekend where there's a lot of family connections, friends connections surrounding a wedding and things like that. And maybe letting that, even though I have a lot of other things on my mind, there could be that message to let that be sort of a refreshing moment, to lean into that energy of connecting with people and having these times together, versus letting my mind be elsewhere. I think that is really quite beautiful, actually. I'm gonna pull another random, just 3, just so we can see them. I will say I do like the look of my tokens with them too. So you could throw, charms on here would be really beautiful, right? So you might pull 3 cards. People often ask, how do I mix systems? So this is interesting. Again, there's something here with this card. It's really poignant. You do get a sense of achingness or pain or that feeling that something just isn't right, but you don't know what's going on behind that. And maybe needing something that comes from inner child, maybe something that's deep within, and in the memories that might need to come back up. I'm going to pull just a random different card just because I had that other one before. I want you to see the different cards. I think that was at the split as well. And how, taking the time to puzzle it out and to work it out. I think that's really cool. I'm just going to randomly grab 3 tokens over here and cast them, right? So we have here the elder, right? There's wisdom to be gained. There is taking the time to work out what's happening, and it may be something nostalgic. This may be something from past in in your childhood, in the past, that is still having an impact today. There's just something isn't quite right, and taking the time to figure that out is going to bring about some wisdom that's going to be gained here. I also have the West card. I'm bringing things to a closure. This needs to be dealt with. We can't just leave that sitting around. And something that might need to be brought out is that there is something is being repelled. There's something being bounced back because we're not taking the time to figure it out. It's almost like it's hitting and bouncing off, and we're feeling that in our on our back, so to speak. So I do think that there is some real depth to be had here. I mean, it's just beautiful, but because there are shadow cards here, even this can be confusion, and because of that, I think you can really get into some meaty readings versus maybe just affirmation deck. Because this doesn't feel like an affirmation deck. It feels like you could really get some work done out of it. Let's just take a look here. So I know that's technically supposed to be. So we have the beautiful sadness card. The death card, you know, again, doesn't come off to me as being shadowy, but it can be, right? Love the ancestry. Love that. The fall card. Time. I mean, these are really beautiful. And once you know what they are, I love that. Like, I'm just kind of looking back through them, and once you've gone through and done that, you do have a feel for what they are by looking at them, which is really cool. That leadership card. The connection there. That power, that's the masculine to the feminine, justice, magic, that kind of lightning tower, the not community, but just the public, being out in the public, meditation. That's really beautiful. The moon energy, the independence of the cat, the disagreement there. You be willing to take the first step. Love that. Love this. Sorry, I know let's just go back through them, you know, one more time because they're really beautiful. That's me open the door. Yeah, so you have a few. You don't have a ton of them, but it does feel like at least those things have an opportunity to come into play. I might have missed some of them. So yeah, I am really... I've not heard of this deck. Obviously, this is probably a deck that is, you know, more out and about in Europe perhaps than it is here, because I've not seen anything to do with this deck. But I am really thankful to Marie for sending this to me to take a look at. And I feel a strong pull for this deck, being one that... powerful transformative energies. Do the work, right? With transformation, we have to do the work. We've got to be willing to do the work, and we've got to be willing to put ourselves out there. We don't know how people are going to think about us. We don't know how we're going to be judged. We feel more vulnerable when we're out in public, right? But for that transformation to take place, do the work and be willing to get out, be willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. You know, those are powerful types of messages, I think, that can come from this, and it's absolutely stunning. So yeah, I'm really loving that, really loving it. And again, that's a special treat because I've never seen those symbols used anywhere else other than, you know, I've seen it in obviously web pages and things, but very cool. So there you go. I hope that I will put the information for this below, and I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did, and that you have a wonderful rest of your day.